Good morning, I'm Dr. Farine Clark. Welcome to Second Opinion, the interactive medical programme that puts you in touch with the specialists.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Nick Clark. We want to hear from you today if you're trying to give up smoking. Robin Haley used to smoke 60 cigarettes a day, then he booked into Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking clinic. He was so impressed he joined the company. He'll be here later to tell us why he thinks giving up smoking is a cinch. Giving up smoking is easy. That's according to Robin Haley, who advises people on how to stop. Polly McAndrew is one of his success stories. They join me now. Hello, Robin. Hello, Polly. Robin, what is this method?
It's not easy to sum up Alan Carr's method in just a few sentences. The process takes around 4 hours for the majority of smokers. And it's a bit like, say as a youngster, you've been lured into what you think is a beautiful garden. You then find out several years later that you're in this very complicated maze, which you find it difficult, if not impossible, to escape from. And a lot of people think that Alan Carr's method is simply a series of useful tips. It isn't. It's a detailed map of that maze, so that if you follow each instruction that Alan gives, you can find your way to the exit and you can get free forever. Fail to follow just one of the instructions and the rest can become completely pointless.
So what sort of instructions might there be?
Well,
without giving away the whole method.
No, it's not giving it away. It's unless you can actually understand why the instructions are correct, you will not be able to follow them. First of all, you need to be able to understand, above all, that smoking actually provides no genuine pleasure and no genuine crutch whatsoever, that it is in fact simply drug addiction. Having understood that, then you realise that you're not making a sacrifice by stopping smoking. Then you don't feel deprived, and then you can follow the instructions, and then it can actually become ridiculously easy.
Right.
Polly, how many did you smoke?
Well, I sort of smoked on and off for about 20 years, and I used to sort of go through long periods when I didn't smoke, and then something would crop up, like sort of finals or something, and I'd be sort of rushing out and getting, you know, a packet of fags, and then I'd just sort of smoke for a couple of years. But I never, I knew that I could, I never sort of stopped entirely, sort of thing.
And how did you give up in the end?
Well, basically, I phoned up and I went to Alan Carr, and Robin was the therapist, and it was a quite bizarre coincidence because he's a neighbouring school to mine and so on. But and then, you know, so I went along for the morning, and then since then I've just never smoked again.
Right. And when did you start smoking? How old
When
were
I was
you?
13.
So is it sort of behind the bike sheds?
Yeah, it was definitely behind the bike sheds. Yeah.
Right.
When I was at school.
And were you a heavy smoker by the time you left school, would you say?
Quite a heavy smoker, yeah, probably.
Right. Because one of the things we're finding, is it not, is that more and more teenagers and very young children are smoking and becoming adult smokers, but when they're still teenagers.
Apparently a quarter of 15-year-olds admit to smoking.
Yes, regularly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of, well, I was at a very academic school, and a lot of people, you know, around exam time and so on, people used to sort of smoke all the time. So I always associated it with sort of stressful moments. But this 4-hour session really sort of did the trick, and since then it just seems to have completely sort of altered the whole way I look at it, and I'm just quite confident I'm never going to smoke again. So.
That's tremendous. We've got a caller from Leicester, so stay with us. Manjit Singh from Leicester. Hello, Manjit.
Hello.
You're live on Talk TV. What's your question, Manjit?
I'm 17 and I've tried giving up smoking, but I can't. And I'm wondering if, like, Robin could help me.
You're asking for some advice here. Robin?
Well, as I said earlier, it takes about 4 hours to cure smokers, and if I could cure a smoker in about 3 minutes, I would. I wouldn't waste my time and theirs.
4 hours seems pretty quick, I have to say.
Well, it is extraordinary that it can be done in 4 hours. I was amazed myself, and I tried everything else to quit. So when I went to see Alan 7 years ago, I tried the nicotine gum. I was chewing the gum and smoking the cigarettes at the same time within a month. And if the patches of the nasal
you had the
spray
patch
had
as
well.
well.
Well, no, it was before the patches had come out, but had they been on the market, I've no doubt, being known sort of person I am, I'd have probably been wearing those and shoving a nicotine up my nose.
Is that part of the plan?
Now, I must emphasise, all substitutes make it more difficult to stop because they perpetuate the illusion that you are making a sacrifice when you quit.
Yeah.
The substitute that actually contains the very drug that you're trying to quit, i.e. nicotine, is particularly unhelpful because it simply keeps your body withdrawing from nicotine, keeps your body addicted, which in turn usually keeps the brain moping for cigarettes. It's as logical as going up to a heroin addict and say, look, if you want to get off this stuff, stop injecting it, start smoking.
Well,
it
there is a logic to that, but also as a doctor, I know you do get people off smoking using nicotine patches and
Yes,
Nicorettes. I've seen it work. It worked with Nick.
Complex set of issues
I'm not
involved.
saying that people do not quit having gone through a process of nicotine replacement.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that they would have quit anyway. There's absolutely no evidence to suggest that nicotine replacement therapy in itself, without counselling, can help people quit.
Right.
Of course, people will quit having lasers put into their ears or needles put into their ears, but they would have quit anyway. I mean, you can cross a road. If you're lucky, you'll get across a drunk, blindfold, standing on your hands with a convoy going by at midnight. You might get across one time out of 100. Doesn't mean you've got across that road because you've gone about it in that way. You've been lucky.
Well, yes, sure. Debate to carry on forever, I think.
An important one.
Well, thank you very much, Carol in Manchester. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Polly. Thank you for your advice.